Hello, how we doing? I'm just going to do a short little video about sort of just doing a bit of stone prep really, because I felt like I needed to like re-flatten my little, well not so little, but my Jnat. So, well, I thought I'd just quickly film it basically. I got some new Naguras, yeah, a couple of weeks ago now actually. This is my old Majiro, my original sort of, well, clonker of a Majiro. I've had that a good while now, it's a really good stone. And then I got another little Majiro because I bought it in a set of 3. So that's a Majiro, that's a Botan, and that's a Tenjo. Might be saying that a bit wrong, I'm not too sure. So I'm keeping these 2. I ain't tested these 2 yet though, but I have, well, I've nearly fully prepped that one I think. And this one just needs a little bit more sort of rounding off this side a little bit there as well I suppose. But if you look at this one, look, it's got lovely rounded sides. You know, I've had it for a while now and well, it's had a lot of work going into it basically. And the reason you've got to round off these edges, like see this edge there, look, that's too sharp of an edge. It's not too bad, like, and you might get away with it, but you always should really try and like, well, achieve this. So this nice kind of rounded area just there. So we're going to give it a whirl, show you what to do, and then I'll quickly just flatten that as well. So this is the plate that I use for all of my flattening and any kind of, well, stone work we'll call it. It's just a DMT dia flat plate. I've had it for years and years and years, I really have. 10 plus years. Dia flat lapping plate it's called, DMT. I find them really good. You get some mixed reviews online, but I think that's the same with anything, but I can't fault it. It's done exactly what it's meant to have done. So what do we do? Well, I don't think your slurry stones should be dead flat, and my reasoning behind that is they stick. So what I read about, well, years ago now, was try and get the bottom of the slurry plate, obviously that's an exaggeration, but like a little dome. And at first I was doing it so the whole thing had become dome, but what I noticed was every now and then a little bit of chip off, especially these 2 ends, like the shorter ends if you're doing that. So like, that's exaggeration, but doing that. So instead it's more just a backward forward motion. So I'll show you what I mean. Because you've naturally got, whenever you get one of these stones, you've almost naturally got kind of like a way it wants to move, and all you do is just encourage it in all ways and make sure the bottom's fully rounded, so there's no angles whatsoever really. And then there's so much less chance of it having any sort of break off, tear out, whatever you want to call it. On a plate like this it normally don't take long. Lovely kind of whitish sort of slurry stone coming off of here now. Let's have a little look. So that side's nearly done. Let's try and get a bit on that bit there. You just want it to go up a good few mil. The further you get it up, you see, the longer you'll have the slurry stone without having to do it again. So it's worth just spending that little bit of extra time getting it a bit more sort of sorted in this bit. If you're going to do it kind of right. Yep, that side's all right. Let's get a little bit more on that corner there, and then a bit more on that angle. A little bit there. So that's about it really. We're kind of We're probably up about 5mm over the whole thing. And then just get it a little bit more domed, and it'll never stick then, because I've already put like a bit of a dome on this, because I actually was using this on my 1000 grit the other day just to see how, because I read that, you know, you can use these natural stones on synthetic stones, Japanese water stones, and well, I think it's true. I think it sped it up a bit. It's hard to tell, like. But that, I wasn't meant to do that, but see what I mean? Don't stick. Whereas if I'd have left that flat, it'd have gone, well, it wouldn't have even done that, it just goes. It's a little trick I learned anyway. Before I read about that, I had a slurry stone that was so flat and so porous that on my Jnat that's under that plate, it barely wanted to move. It was like really difficult to get a slurry, and turned into just an absolute ball ache. It really did. So anyway, that's when I thought of covered that. There's a little tiny pit hole there, but somebody's already spoke for that, so I'll let them take that out if they want. Don't think it'll bother it. Lovely little stone. Right, so what we got here then? Well, we've got my big coma. Is it coma? I think it's coma, isn't it? Sucks up the water quite a bit. It's definitely one of my lightest stones. That boton's pretty light, but yeah, it's a bit lighter than that. We'll give it a whirl in my next video. Right, so let's have a quick look at this. So I've just put some pencil lines on it. And we just, don't matter, you've got a bit of slurry stone on there, just don't really matter. See, when you're doing this, if you can, preferably you should have a plate that's quite a bit bigger, or at least bigger than the stone. Because if you keep coming off the end too much, in either way, you'll end up kind of dishing your stone. Does it matter? Well, depends how flat you want to be, doesn't it? But as it's my proper finishing stone, I guess I'll try and do it a little bit more proper than any other stone. You know, sometimes I think there's too much put into having flat stones in a way, because nearly all the stones I've got in the past from kind of like razor lots from auction houses, or just lots that I know have come directly from a barber, and that, what, you know, they very rarely had really what I'd call flat stones. They're normally always a bit dished, and so, we like flat, don't we, in today's world, unless you're going to go down that whole convex route. Let's have a little look. What do we reckon? Well, I reckon that's nearly all. Well, it has all come off, hasn't it? But we'll give it one just quick whirl. Touch your ears if you're a bit sensitive. Ooh, hey. Just give it another few little slides. I'll put a little bit less pressure on it this go, and a bit less aggressive on the old scratches it I put in it. It always scratches it up a little bit, but it never bothers me because it always smooths itself out, and I do go over it with the other little diamond plate anyway. Some over there and some over there. Reason I'm sort of flattening this a bit today as well, because it weren't really out of flatness. I couldn't like put a straight on it. I was straight ruler and everything. I could barely see any sort of sunlight coming under it, but I put it under my microscope the other day and put the little aperture thing right up close to it so I could get the biggest sort of magnification I can on my device. And I had a few little sort of pit holes in it, sort of a couple of little sort of blowouts here and there. And I think it's where I've been tapping the razor on it by mistake, because I do try and I do try and not. Yeah, that's alright. Tap my razor on my natural stones at all anymore, but every now and then I just forget and still do it, much to my annoyance. And like I've said before, it puts little pit holes in your stones. I've checked it on multiple stones. It was really noticeable on my less hard Jnat. Just while we're here, we'll give it one more quick go, just so everybody can see the nice little, I call it like an avocado Jnat stone, because the slurry it makes is like a really sort of, well, avocado kind of look to me. And there we go. That's quite representative of the old slurry it gives off. I'll give that a check under the microscope later. Got a little tiny dink there, it's been there. Well, I can't remember if it come with a stone or not, whether I did it. It's still there, that just goes to show how much you're not sort of taking off really. Right. That's it. Just wanted to show you that while I was kind of doing some prep work for some other bits.